Today on 100 Huntley Street, it's the International Day of Friendship, a perfect time to reflect on the friends who lift us up and walk with us through life's hardest moments. We'll explore what real friendship looks like and how your love language shapes your relationships. It all starts right now.
Welcome to 100 Huntley Street, friends. We are so glad you're joining us today. Well, Daniel, what a wonderful day to be together because it's a very special holiday.
Yeah.
The International Day of Friendship.
Yes.
That is so cool.
And it's good to be together with you on this day and with you as well.
Friends, here we are together.
Yes.
You know, recently somebody said this quote within my periphery. I heard them. To have good friends, you need to be a good friend.
Oh.
So it totally changed my approach. I was like, oh, okay, I think I want good friends around me, but am I a good friend in every moment? What does that look like?
Yeah, and sometimes we want it to be done for us too.
Yeah.
But what if we were to take that first step and we were to do that friendly act and build those friendships, then maybe then we would receive better friendships too.
You know, am I being a good friend? It's a hard question to ask, but it's a good question to ask. Mm-hmm. And what does that look like? Daniel, I want to say thank you for your friendship.
Oh, thank you.
Because you are such a steady presence for us here at 100 Huntley Street, for our viewers at home, for our team. You come in full of joy, full of wisdom to share, and we always love how you point people back to biblical living and a biblical worldview for family and faith. But that's very relevant to today. You are a gift to us. There you go. I'm being a good friend.
And words of affirmation is one of my love languages.
We were over there talking about that after.
Very nice. Thank you.
We were chatting earlier. Well, you know, and there's some great Bible verses on friendship. Isn't it interesting how many times God designed us to really pay attention in the Bible? Okay, we're focusing on friendship.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if you take a look at Proverbs 17:17, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity.
Yes. Isn't that something? I think about that a lot. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up.
Yes.
That is so
practical.
important.
Yes.
It is so important.
Yeah. And in John 15:13, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And how Jesus did that for us and how he modeled that way for us.
Yeah, and that means putting our friends first, actually, right, in so many ways. Proverbs 27:17 is iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another.
Yes.
You know, Statistics Canada is reporting that Canadians are spending less time with their friends. And I wonder about that. What's going on?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to reflect on because coming out of this season where we were sort of asked to stay alone and be apart from one another, it's hard to come out. It's hard to share, and it's hard to then say, okay, so how do I do that again? How can I be a friend?
I find you a very good friend to people. I notice it. So Daniel, how do you, look at this mess. I'm just joking. How do you build friendships well in the way you do it? What's the approach? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I love research. And I came across this recent project where they discovered the amount of time it took to develop and grow a friendship.
Oh, wow.
Okay, now get this, because it comes down to the amount of hours that you spend with someone. What the research discovered was that it takes around 40 to 60 hours to develop a casual friendship. Okay, just to be like, hey, we're friends.
Yeah, that's a cumulative number, though.
Yes.
So it's like
40 to 60 hours.
It's your first week on the job.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then after that, it takes around 80 to 100 hours to move into friendship. So going from casual to being a friend. And then, get this, more than 200 hours to be best friends with someone. And what I love about this research is it breaks it down. Instead of saying, oh, how could I ever find that good friend? Like that best friend that I had that, we had more than 200 hours together, but it was a lifetime of knowing them. I knew them back in high school, or I knew them back when my children were younger and they've recently passed away, or I've moved away, or they have. And it sometimes feels so impossible to get back there.
Yeah.
But when you think about this research, it comes down to hours spent.
Yep. Yep. And there's a lot of hope in that, and so think about those people in your life right now who you want to grow a deeper friendship with. Reach out to them, connect with them, and know that it's so life-changing to have friendship rooted in love and rooted in who Jesus is. I mean, having a friendship with followers of Jesus makes a very big difference in our spiritual walks. Huge. Well, today we're going to be getting more insight from Dr. Gary Chapman about the 5 love languages. That will help you with your friendships. And we'll also be featuring a story out of Cambodia. It's a Crossroads Cares update that's going to really see the impact, show you the impact of your giving. And so we're really thrilled to share that story with you. But first, we have a story over from Smithville, Ontario. That's in the Niagara region in Ontario. Niagara Christian gleaners who are rescuing surplus produce from local farmers to feed the hungry. Take a look.
Niagara Christian Gleaners, it really seeks to sort of right a wrong in the area of food waste and insecurity and injustice. So we, as a mission, really desire to make a difference. We are able to rescue some of this food that otherwise would not be used, and so we have an option for growers to send their surplus food to us, and then we can transform it into dehydrated food aid. Readily, we put 1.2 million servings of food on a sea container, and we can send that without refrigeration when it arrives in these countries. It doesn't need extraordinary care or storage, so that's the beauty of dehydration. Since our beginning in 2018, we were in production at the end of that year. We, to date, have shared 50 million servings of food. For starters, we're not a business, so we are a food plant, but we're first and foremost on mission here with people. So all of the decisions we make, even on the production side of things, is driven by how does this impact our volunteers. We want our volunteers to just be comfortable even at the pace that they are able to do. So they're not on a production line. They simply just contribute in the way they are able. One volunteer might be at a slower pace than another, but we are so okay with that. If this was a commercial business, much of what we do could be fully automated. We take steps to automate less, not more. So it's very hands-on. Our volunteers, they are tangibly handling the product, packaging the food, scraping the dried food off trays, all of that done manually on purpose. Today we were processing eggplant. That comes to us weekly, fresh from a local greenhouse grower who has as well graded them out. The volunteers are really the heart of this ministry, because we certainly couldn't do it without them. And they come and they have joy on their hearts. They know they're making a difference. It's a beautiful community. We're interdenominational. We are the body of Christ, and it's got all different colors and flavors and shapes. And we are so okay with that. we can have children as young as 9 years old and our seniors at age 90. One time we had 4 generations of one family serving here. That's pretty special.
I like it that this is where we experience unity of the church on a grassroots level. And it's done out of compassion for those who don't have what we have. And it's a response for the love that Christ showed us.
These people are my family. I had brain surgery 2.5 years ago, and the prayers I got, it's just we pray for each other when we're going through stuff, and it's really wonderful to be a part of this.
It's actually quite remarkable how the Lord can use that produce that would otherwise just be out under or let rot. It's so rewarding to see it from start to finish. And then often we get to see the videos of when the food's being delivered in the countries. And it just makes your heart burst with joy because you know that you've been part of that.
So this food is often meeting a place where they are in crisis. This summer we were able to share a container of food to Kenya. Now Kenya, they were on the backs of the worst drought in 40 years and struggling only to be dealing with the worst flooding they had ever seen. So we go in there and with partnerships with organizations that will now supply the food. I think one of the key things that comes with us sharing this food is the fact that they're made aware that someone on the other side of the world cared enough about them and their struggle to prepare food for them. I think that touches their hearts in real ways.
Really, the heart of it is we're recipients of grace and mercy, and then we're conduits. We just have that from the Lord to now give.
We live in a country with abundant food. It is probably one of the reasons why the Canadian consumer has sort of demanded number one produce as the only one they're ready to purchase, pay for, putting strain on the growers who have produce on either side of that grading spectrum. And that's simply because we have so much. Think if we didn't have so much, we wouldn't have that luxury of wasting as much as we do. Now, out of a grateful heart for living with that much privilege, that much food, then out of gratefulness, we want to respond. So I would say that from a Christian point of view, our responses always should be out of gratefulness. The Lord has done so much for us. Our response is simply out of gratitude for what He has done through His Son, Jesus Christ. Not ours, but in your Son's strong name. Amen. All right, chop, chop. The glory is His, and we're just called to, with a grateful heart, do this work.
If you're thinking to yourself right now, oh, I know it's the International Day of Friendship. I want to develop greater friendships with others in my life, but I don't know where to start. I don't really want to call up a friend and go to a coffee shop and sit across from them. I don't know what to say. Then volunteering in a ministry like the Niagara Christian Gleaners would be an incredible idea, because this is one of those opportunities where you can just serve side by side with someone. And when you serve side by side with someone, guess what happens? Friendship develops because you're spending time with one another. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm a better communicator when I'm side by side with someone,
yeah.
talking, like we're doing something and we're talking.
Yeah.
And that I find makes the time go faster too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's beautiful. I love that idea. And I think it makes such a difference when we do step out and get active, get involved. You can get out there. There is so much community to be had.
Yes, there is.
And God does bless it. You know, seeing that they have over 350 volunteers, the kinds of numbers we're seeing out of Niagara Christian Gleaners, as well as the impact, 25,000 meals per day sent worldwide. You know, you think about this beautiful ministry with so much love, and the love just being spread across Canada, across the world. People feeling who have felt forgotten. No, they're not forgotten. They are loved. Someone is there with them. You know, the power of love really does change everything. Love in a friendship, love in a relationship, love in a connection to God.
Yeah.
And of course, we always want to be encouraging love out there. And one of the ways we're doing that is by featuring Dr. Gary Chapman, who's going to be with us all this week. He's here with us right now with some timeless wisdom from his New York Times bestselling book, The 5 Love Languages. You're going to love this book. You're going to love what he has to say. It is so transforming of our hearts and many of our relationships. So take a look at this. You know, another one of your love languages that I hear commonly from people is words of affirmation. Tell us what words of affirmation as a love language looks like.
It's simply using words to affirm the other person. You look nice in that outfit. I really appreciate what you did. You know, one of the things I like about you is just looking for things that you can affirm. I did have a lady tell me some time ago, she said, Gary, I know it would be good if I could give my husband some positive words. But to be honest with you, I can't think of anything good to say about the man. And I said, well, does he ever take a shower? She said, well, yes. I said, how often? She said, well, every day. I said, if I were you, I'd start there. I said, there are men who don't take showers. Honey, I appreciate you taking a shower. I've never met a man, woman, boy, or girl. You couldn't find something good to say about them. And so you can speak the words, you can write the words. I guess you could sing the words, you know, but it's using words to communicate that I appreciate you.
Well, I have to tell you that Dr. Gary Chapman's book has changed my marriage in many ways over the years. And I'm going to tell a funny story right now. When Jeff and I were first married, it was one of our first Christmases together. And he gave me a bunch of school supplies under the tree. And I'm talking like paper and pens. And my love languages is gifts. And this isn't one of the early photos. This would have been our era. Jacob would have been, that's our son Jacob. He would have been born about 2 years after this whole incident. So, you know, he gets us these school supplies, and I'm like, what is going on? And I wasn't finishing my university degree at the time. And I was kind of running from it. And so he was like, well, one of his love languages is acts of service. So he's like, I'm serving you, like I'm giving. And I was like, no, mine's gifts. So this is not thoughtful. This is like more work. You know, why isn't it something edible? Like I was saying another day, I love food, or I love, you know, perfume, whatever.
Yeah, you just got this at Staples on your way home.
So I start crying, and I'm like, it's so early in our marriage, and you've fallen out of love with me. He's like, what? What are you talking about? I've provided a photo to show you where we are today. There's a beautiful family photo coming up right now. It's a Christmas photo. There we go. You can see how resolved we are. And what we found out was that, you know, he went out he found out my love language was gifts. And so then he went out and got me some things I would love. And basically it was makeup. I'm going to be honest. It was makeup. Okay, well, that's a funny story. And what happened was I found out his love language was words of affirmation. And I had no idea, and acts of service. So to really understand his acts of service love languages had informed how he was giving me a gift. Well, anyways, it will give you insight. Hopefully you have some funny stories once you read the book. The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman, 1-800-265-3100. Go to crossroads.ca/give for a suggested ministry gift of $40 or more. This is an offer just this week.
And Lara, what I love about this book is, yes, it is a book about the love languages that we have with one another. But when you think about our relationship with God, there are love languages that we have and the particular ways that we connect with God differently than others. And I don't know if you've ever come across a moment where you've seen someone else and you're like, wow, they have such a close relationship with God. I don't think I can ever get there, or how do I? And sometimes we separate ourselves from others, or maybe it's because they are a passionate prayer warrior, or maybe it's because they are a missionary or a pastor or this, that, or the other. But when you think about our relationship with Jesus, the ground is level. and it's flat at the foot of the cross. And we all have an opportunity to have a deep relationship with Jesus. And here's where it gets really practical. If you remember back to the research on
Right
how many hours,
program.
how many hours it takes to develop a really good friendship with someone, to move from friendship to best friendship, more than 200 hours. So here's the challenge with you. How many hours have you spent with God? How many hours have you spent in the scriptures, in praying, in serving others? These are all ways that we can develop friendship with Jesus. And as we spend more time with Jesus, not to check off a box, but as we spend more time with Jesus, we're actually going to learn how to hear his voice better. We're going to learn friendship with him. Just like when you call a friend on the phone, they don't need to say who they are, right? You recognize their voice.
That's right.
And Jesus said, my sheep will know me by recognizing my voice. So I just love the practicality of that.
I love it. And it's achievable, tangible for all of us. This is what God wants. He wants a deep friendship with us. It's so beautiful. Well, you know, even just as beautiful, we have a Crossroads Cares story for you right now. It is an update for you on the work we're doing in Cambodia. Thanks to your faithful giving. And it is going to inspire you. It's a story all about connection, all about protection, and bringing dignity to the world's most vulnerable.
Where people were dying.
Recently, I lost a child that got an infection from that water. Unfortunately, he passed on.
They really are devastated in terms of what happens to them.
It's a lot of heartbreak. It's a lot of exhaustion from people. Thank you on behalf of the people who are going through incredible suffering during this time.
Please help us.
I'm so excited I decided to carry this child and come and witness, see with my own eyes if really we are going to have safe water.
We have stories to tell that'll help others understand us. Crossroads is able to help with that.
When you give, you are giving life.
It is so significant. It really is a matter of life and death, and you are making the difference.
Ponlak was born with a medical condition which left him stunted in his growth from childhood. As a husband and father, he was identified as someone vulnerable to trafficking simply because he was routinely turned down for jobs due to discrimination.
When you were struggling to find work and your economic circumstances were hard, what was that like for you as a dad and a husband? Was that hard?
Before, when I go to find a job, I was rejected because my physical appearance. I was very upset as a father and as a husband that I could not provide food for my family. We struggle to send kids to school because we are poor.
When people were treating you poorly because they judged your outward appearance, what did they miss about your heart and your talent and your skills?
I myself, I don't disrespect myself. I must go beyond that and above that for my life and my family.
Through the Trafficking Vulnerability Prevention Project, families like Ponlaks are eligible to receive job skills training to start their own small business, which helps them to stay safe. For Ponlak and his wife, they were given the opportunity to learn how to raise chickens.
But now, because I have the skill from the project, it enabled me to raise the chicken, so I don't need to go out and find a job anymore. That this I can help my family by myself.
A big part of what you do here at Ratnack is prevention. So rather than just always being at the other end trying to restore a broken life, can we stop trafficking to start with? Tell me a little bit about how that works.
Even if you know the risks, your family's desperate, they haven't eaten, there's depression, there's hopelessness. Even though you know all those facts, you'll still run the gauntlet. You'll take the chance that you're the lucky one that isn't being trafficked, and you get trafficked. So one of the things we have to do is not only inform them that here's the risk, here's all the bad things that can go wrong, We need to give them the alternative. We need to give them that option to get out of that place of vulnerability. We actually go to the village chief, we go to local government, we go to people who are in the know in the community and say, who are the most vulnerable families? We'll start talking to them about human trafficking, but also, here's economic alternatives. We'll train you, we'll teach you how to raise chickens, we'll just give you that leg up so that not only do you know about trafficking, but for the first time perhaps in your life, you're not desperate enough to take the risk.
Van Thron is an example of a village chief that Ratnack would consult with when it comes to identifying those truly in need. He says the partnership goes beyond investing in the villagers. It means that they are truly noticed and seen.
I feel that this organization is willing to help the people in the community to prevent the human trafficking and migration, and will be benefit to my people in the village. I'm so happy as a father and as a husband that I can provide for my family, all the family members, they have enough food.
From the proceeds of his chicken business, Ponlock was able to ensure his children can now attend school. He also purchased a moto along with building a new pit latrine for his family, and even has plans to expand his business.
My dream is to enlarge, to expand our business in raising chicken. I want to make the commitment that I must be successful and I will not fail. I want to see my kids go to school so that they can have a good future.
In Cambodia, our Crossroads Cares partner is helping change that story one life at a time.
And you know, Ponlock was at risk, discriminated against, and unable to find work. He was so vulnerable. But when our partner identified him through their trafficking prevention program, they offered him the chance at something, you know, a good life, possibility, hope, protection, and safety.
Yeah, and now Ponlock is thriving.
Yeah.
He's thriving and may soon help to train other people. This is what trafficking prevention looks like, and this is what your giving makes possible. So thank you for standing with us.
Yes, we're so thankful, and we want to ask if you would continue to partner with us so we can continue to bring relief to areas like Cambodia in particular, to help more people like Ponlock, to help more families. You know, you see the faces of his young children there, and you can only imagine being a parent and feeling like you can't provide for your kids. Could you give today and continue to help us provide for the needs in Cambodia? Visit crossroads.ca/Cambodia or call 1-800-265-3100. Thank you so much for what you've already done. Please continue to sow in, and we are seeing the fruits of what God is doing through your faithful giving and your faithful love and prayers.
Yeah, and one way to connect this to back home is in Canada. Human trafficking is an issue that it continues to increase. So I want to invite you to be praying, not only for Ponlock, but for this issue here as well.
Yeah, and tomorrow we've got a very special story for you. It's a man who went through a cancer journey, had a miraculous outcome, but it was not easy. And Daniel, you're going to be sitting down with him.
Yeah, it's going to be a great interview.
Yeah,
we'll see you tomorrow.
Then.
Thank you for your ongoing support of Crossroads, a supporter-funded nonprofit organization and member of the Canadian Centre for Christian Charities. Thanks to faithful people like you, we are able to continue producing 100 Huntley Street. You can write to Crossroads, P.O. Box 5100, Burlington, Ontario, L7R4M2, or visit crossroads.ca to learn more about our programs.
Hello, I'm Kevin Shepard, CEO of Crossroads and Yes TV. I have some exciting news about what God is doing here, and I want to invite you to join our special community by becoming a monthly member. And here's why you should. Inspiration. Our content uplifts and inspires, and as a monthly partner, you help share the hope of Jesus with so many. Impact. Crossroads is more than media. We provide 1,300 prayer interactions daily, offering comfort and biblical resources, and your membership makes an eternal impact. Global missions. We respond to disasters and partner with NGOs for relief and rebuilding. By joining, you care for those in need. As a Crossroads member, you join like-minded community. You get exclusive content, friendly support. You can attend member events and stay informed. Becoming a member is simple. Choose your monthly level and payment method, and we hope you would join us, make a life-changing difference in people's lives today. Thank you for your commitment to our shared vision.